Hi, my name is Prince Will and I'm a data enthusiast. Today I'll be talking about data cleaning. If you're into data analysis, you will know by now that data cleaning is one of the most important tasks that has to be completed before you can analyze any data set. Some of the factors to look out for before cleaning data would be missing values, what we know as null value. So this is a situation where you've got the data set in a table form, columns and rows, but some rows are empty. It means that some values are missing. Now, when you have missing values, depending on the entire data set and what percentage of values are missing, if it is very minute, let's say maybe less than 2% or maybe 3%, depending on what you're working on, you may just want to delete those rows and work with what you have. Say for example, maybe in football terms, a team wants to sign a striker, and for that striker they've seen the height of the striker, maybe 5 feet something or 6 feet. The striker is good to play with their back to the post. They are good 1v1. They've had very good conversion rates, maybe 15 goals in the last 10 matches. You see that when you have all of these stats and maybe the only stat that is missing for that striker is dominant foot, I think that is too, inconsequential in terms of signing the striker. Yes, you may want to get someone that uses right foot or left foot, but if you look at other values you have, you will know that the dominant foot is not too much for you to say you not complete the signing. So this is where the consideration comes in when you're working with missing values. Depending on the percentage of values that are missing, if it is much, then you may want to look deeper into it to see how you can maybe fill in the missing values. But if it is too minute and you think it will not affect the quality of analysis, then you may just decide to delete it. Then another factor we look out for is duplicate record. In terms of data analysis, this is when you have, say, a row appearing twice. So when this row appears twice, it means that you've already counted it before. Counting it again in the same analysis is going to affect the quality of your analysis. For example, you're calculating maybe the contributions of players and you've counted the player's goal twice. If you say a player has scored 10 goals this season and you're counting the number of goals that your team has scored and you count that 10 goals twice, it doesn't make any sense. This is going to give you an inaccurate analysis because you already counted that record before. So this is something to look out for. If there are duplicate records in your data set, then you have to delete them when working on your analysis. The next factor we have to look out for when cleaning a data set is inconsistent formatting. Now, the thing with inconsistent formatting is not as if there is an error with what you have. No, it's still very correct. You can still work with it, but this can bring about confusion. So let's say, for instance, you've got let's say months of the year: January, February, March, April, but January starts with uppercase like capital letter, February starts with lowercase like small letter, and you go uppercase, lowercase, uppercase. These things can bring about confusion. Again, the values you have there or the details are not wrong. You know that these are the months of the year, but because of the inconsistency, this thing can bring about confusion. It's like saying you've got a football match and a particular player, apart from the goalkeeper, maybe 2 or 3 outfield players are wearing a different color of jersey. These things are inconsistent. It doesn't stop them from being players of the team, but because of that inconsistency, if everyone is on blue and 2 outfield players are on white and these are supposed to be players, it could bring about confusion during the game. So that is why this needs to be sorted out during your data cleaning. The next factor to look out for when cleaning data sets is what we call outliers. Outliers are those values that are not within the range of, let's say 50% of the values in the data set, and these are like numerical entries. So let's assume that you're looking at, let's say, ages between 20 to 40 and there's one value of 150 years of age. This is an outlier. It is not within the range of most of the values, and if you do any calculation, as much as the outlier is part of the entries you have, if you do any calculation, that outlier can affect the average. It can skew the data. Now, this doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong, but because of the range of that outlier from other values, then it can bring about a bias in your analysis. It's similar to what we're having in football. We can see maybe a team has scored 50 goals and one player has scored 40 or 45. Now, in a team effort, you say that yes, the team is doing really well, but if you look at one player scoring that number of goals, then you know that if you take this one player out, this is not a fair performance of the team, even if the player is part of the team. So that is with the outliers. The last factor to look out for when cleaning a data set is what we call data type. This is you putting the data in the right category. If you have days of the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, then let them be days of the week. The data type can be like a date data type. If you have, say you've got currency, then maybe 10,000, 12,000 and all of that, then you want to ensure that the data type is either decimal or currency. In most cases, the decimal will be 2 decimal places because this is a currency. So the data type has to be within currency or decimal, depending on the platform that you're using to analyze your data. In terms of football, this is like saying you want to group players according to their positions. You can't put a goalkeeper in a striker position. Yes, even if the goalkeeper can play the ball to the back of the net, but a goalkeeper is a goalkeeper, a striker is a striker. There are some players that play maybe more than 1 or 2 positions. It's still similar to what we have in data analysis. A price can be a quantity can be a price, but it doesn't mean that they are all the same, because when you're doing your analysis, you don't want something that will affect the quality of your data. So you want to group them according to the right category to ensure that there is no bias or maybe no form of obstructions whenever you're doing your analysis. So that should be all for today. Thank you very much for your time. See you in the next video. Bye for now.